This is
Yeah,
working.
sounds good.
Do you have the PB&J beers? Are you going to be cracking those tonight?
Absolutely. That's what I'm starting with.
All right, I'll get the I'll get my PB&J right now. I'll be right back. I should have done this
Sounds good.
beforehand. We may or may not be live. What's going on, everybody? Noam, can you hear us in there? Am I too loud? As always.
Hello, mic check.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. What's up, Northwest Small Batch? Let me click on this really quick. What's going on, guys? It's been a minute. We got Charlie in here from Golden Hive Mead. I'm sure you've heard about him. This guy's taken over the world, man, and I'm proud of him. He's got a lot of people that are angry at his success, but I'm not one of them. I'm inspired by it. What's going on, Charlie?
Hey, I appreciate that. Side note, I'm using an external mic, so let me know if you can't hear me okay. I can unplug it, but hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me. I can't wait to be here. I watched last week's episode, or a few weeks ago.
With the Brew Show.
The Brew Show.
Yeah.
Obviously, I saw when Clawhammer's been on before, but yeah, it's. I'm happy to be here. It should be a good time.
It's going to be a good hangout. I got a lot of questions to ask you. Let me try to figure out this chat thing really quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Cut off. Okay, there it is right there. How's everyone doing? It's been a minute. Been moving, been crazy. Bought a house last week. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Nome, Creswell, Northwest?
Congrats by the house.
Bought a
Congrats on the
house.
By the way, I saw that on Instagram, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are coming out next month, yeah?
Yeah, I just booked it.
Okay,
We were ready
good.
to roll.
All right, awesome. And you're drinking the PB&J over there. I want to give a shout out to this guy who came by last week. His name was Blair. He owns a brewery in Memphis, Tennessee called Souls and Spirits. And
Yeah, and I'm going with the PB&J mixtape.
this is your virgin taste. This is the first impression.
I've been looking forward to this, and I've been wanting to do a PB&J mead forever. And I mean, it's probably been one of my most highly requested,
Smoky.
quote unquote, normal recipes.
Yeah. So what's stopping you? Because I know you put out a ton of content. I don't even know how to like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a matter of what the next recipe is. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers, brother. Cheers, Charlie. Emmett's in here. We're gonna see him next week. What's up, Ham McVeigh? What's up, Will? Ron Barnes. Let me get this alert thing up here.
This is incredible.
It's wild, right?
It's better than I expected it to be. I was a little bit worried that the peanut butter would be too overbearing because I usually don't like. There's always peanut butter whiskey shots. I
Okay.
don't usually like those, but I feel like the sweetness and the fruitiness of the grape like balances it out perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a lot of haters on that. There's a lot of people that have a hard time with the PB&J thing. Again, the success of the PB&J thing.
Oh yeah, no, I bet. I mean, any sort of new recipe that kind of goes against the status quo is going to get some sort of pushback. But no, it's delicious. It doesn't surprise me that more people are starting to do this now.
You
mean,
can either be
I
jealous or be inspired. That's what I was saying in my last. You could either
they're
be
being jelly.
jealous or
PB&J.
copy, not copy it, but tag along with the movement and what's going on. And I don't know. I think that with craft beer, everyone's looking for. Craft beer's not doing so hot. I think that.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, there was more shutdowns last year than there were for COVID. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of reasons beer isn't doing hot. The main reasons people say that it's oversaturated with mediocre stuff.
Gotcha.
I don't agree with that. I just think that there's way too many mediocre brands out there. I think the stronger your brand is, the less you have to worry about competition. If you're new, sure, competition's a thing. If your brand is weak, hell yeah, competition's a thing. But there's brands out there like Burial and Other Half and Drecker and North Park that you could
Very
literally
sweet.
you could put 10 breweries right in front of their parking lots and they would kill it even harder. It wouldn't, they
feel
wouldn't miss a
like-
beat.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I don't know a ton about the beer brewing industry, to be honest, but
Yeah, are you even 21?
for my limited experience, I think part of what makes a great brewery is the full experience you have when you actually go visit that brewery,
Oh yeah.
whether or not like what you can see if they have tours. I've done a couple different brewery tours where they have you try different flights and good food too. I feel like that's all a big part of it, and obviously good beer, the main thing. But
The bummer with that though is that the beer has very little to do with it. And I'm making a
oh
video on
really?
it because when I got into craft beer 10 years ago, and I don't really even use that word craft beer anymore, it's all a craft. Everything's a
Yeah,
craft. Whether it's PBR or Miller Lite,
this is
it's
true.
all a craft. But when I got into beer, there was no branding. It was like these little, almost like business parks that looked like speakeasies, almost just for beer. And that was what drove me to it. But now it's all about like branding is everything. Like I've said it before and I'll
100%.
say it again. There's going to be Lululemon collabs with Zool and Burial or
Dude,
Ray-Ban
yeah,
and Great Notion or Halfway Crooks
that's
will be at some skateboard shop. I mean, beer.
yeah, that's the world we live in now. I think you're 100% right.
Yeah, and I was talking to Kyle like a month ago, and we were talking about like these hype breweries, and I think that I don't know what hype means. I think that's what the poor breweries call the breweries that aren't poor. I don't really know what hype means at all. I
Okay.
think it just means success,
I
but
was just gonna say new and exciting or something along those lines.
just successful, just
Yeah.
pumping away 10 years in when most people are just getting localized at
Oh,
this point. But
okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, and I could see how the PB&J thing could drive a lot of people crazy, and it does. But the only people that it drives crazy are the diehard beer snobs and the competitors, the brewery owners,
Oh,
other brewery
yeah.
owners, other head brewers, because they're like, well, it's not even beer, it's not even beer, and it's like,
No, I see. I could see. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I could totally see that to be the case. There's always going to be the people who have been, doing something forever. They want to see things done a very specific way, and if it's done differently, then it's competition at the end of the day.
absolutely. And I think craft beer, or again, I said it, but I think it kind of lost its way a long time ago. Like ultimately, everything's coming back to light beer, at least in my day to day observation. There's still like the double dry hop, triple high dry hop stuff out there. But
Yeah,
at this point, I think that like whatever goes, goes. Keep people employed, keep people with jobs. I don't care if it's a lemon lime cheesecake, lactose, triple whatever. People are going to lose their minds over it. And ultimately, it's just people being angry that they didn't think of it first.
dude. If I had a crystal ball, and again, this is based on my
What's up,
very
everybody?
limited experience, but I would say that beers like this, it's probably just the beginning, and we're going to see more and more crazy experimental recipes across the board for homebrewing, not just beer too, but especially with how big social media and marketing is, that's the stuff that people at least want to try. And whether it's good or not is a different question, but the ones that are good are going to be really good probably. So, but I will say this, trying this
I'm going to crack it
really
with you.
makes me want to. What's up?
This is a good beer. Big shout out to Blair from Souls and Spirits out there in Memphis. I'm really not a smoked beer guy. This is a smoked Mainz
Smoked
on
beer.
Main lager, Festbier, Weissbier. This is very good if you like
Nice.
the smoky stuff.
How
And this
does
guy
how
was,
does smoking beer work? What does that even mean?
it all comes from the grain. It's really easy to do, but I've done a couple batches and you're stuck with 5 gallons of it. It's a lot. You really need to like smoky beer or just
Was
bottle
it
it and give it away. Yeah.
is it like do they like toast the grain first or
Yeah, for
what is
sure.
it?
There's a big kiln, so you're roasting it at a super slow pace, ultimately, without
Oh,
burning it.
okay.
You could, I don't know,
Interesting.
you could probably do it in your oven. I have done it in my oven, but it was like, I don't know, like ovens can only go so low, right? You can't set it to
Yeah,
100
right.
degrees.
It's
It's got to
gotta be
have a
kind of a
minimum of this. But I've done that. I've roasted my own grain, and it's just kind of like
oh,
putting bread in a toaster, right? Like bread is at room temperature. It's
yeah,
it's
right.
bread. You put it in there for a minute, it's going to have a little bit more texture. Another minute, it's going to have. That's the same thing with grain.
Yeah. That's
So
got my gears turning now. I want to think about like a smoked braggot or something.
yeah, smoked mead. I mean, you could do anything. I mean, how? Let's rewind the clock. You
Yeah.
how did you? Was your first video the Mountain Dew video? Is this your first YouTube
Oh
channel?
no, this is my first YouTube channel. Yeah, but
Fucking congratulations, man. And I know you're taking a lot of heat, but like, I'll tell you my opinions on the heat you're taking in a
yeah,
second.
no,
But
we can we can have a whole box getting into that stuff, and I would like to, but yeah, no, a lot of people don't realize that I had like a well-established following before I did any of the crazy experimental recipes or before I even started making any sort of products.
on the
So,
TikTok, because I
oh
know,
yeah, so mostly TikTok was the first one that I started. TikTok and Instagram, and then I made a Facebook and then YouTube after that.
okay,
So by the time I rolled over to YouTube and Facebook, I had like hundreds of videos saved up. So it was sort of a slow process rolling them out and kind of strategically building those channels as well. But you know, my TikTok following has been large for a year at
what do you
this
got over
point.
there? A couple million followers or subscribers?
1.3, I think.
Damn, man. Did you quit your job almost overnight? The whole like don't quit your day job thing
No,
doesn't
no,
apply to
no, no.
you? Okay.
So I mean, I did now. Like now, this is what I do full time.
Congratulations on that.
I run my
Wow.
business. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
But for up until
How old are you? Like 16, 17? 22?
25,
You're 25?
25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, Sam. Shit.
Yeah. No, and I mean, the tricky part is I was literally working my dream job. I got my dream job out of college at the same place where I interned. I think I can say it. I worked at Pepsi as a process engineer.
Oh, I'd figured you for like a
So,
videography guy. Kind of like how the Brew
no,
Show.
not at all.
You
No,
learned all this stuff yourself?
I was an engineer. I worked on Gatorade products.
Damn.
Yeah, and so it got to the point where I was managing the social media and my hobby of obviously mead making for it had been nearly a year at that point, and it got so big. And at this point, it was right around the time that I was launching my mead kits, and I sort of had to make a decision where both of the things were taking up so much of my time and effort and energy, and I loved them both so much. So I figured I probably won't see an opportunity like this for the rest of my life, and not many people do. And it would be tough to live a life where I have a regret where I didn't take a certain opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So I feel like
100%.
this is the perfect time while I'm young, don't have kids yet, to see where things could go. And ever since then, I've loved it. I love the process of um, turning my dream and my hobby into a career. So that's been really, there's certainly pros and cons to it, but I enjoy it overall.
I think you are living the dream. I've kind of given up, not really on doing it full time. I just went down this weird beer path, and I should have spread out my content a little bit more throughout over the years. And the people that the homebrewing community is a rad community. It's not a big
Yeah.
community, and the
Yeah.
people really want the beer tutorials. They want the 5 gallon grain to
Right.
glass stuff. But like honestly, like I've done a
You
lot.
can only do so much of that.
I can
Right.
only do so much of that, and I kind of relate it to starting a pizza channel. Like the only you're gonna make pizza,
Yeah.
you're gonna mix up, a little bit of toppings, or you're gonna mix up the grain, but 90% of the beer is the same as the last video. 90% of the pizza is the same. You're really just kind
Yeah.
of mixing up the title instead of calling it like how to make a vegan pizza. This new video is how to make a meat lover's pizza. Well, it's still 95% of the exact same video as last
Yeah.
week.
No,
So what up,
I think
Treasure?
that's a great comparison.
It is a great comparison, and it'd be different, obviously. And I'd be a liar if I said like, oh, I don't care about like the money and the ad revenue and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there's a bottom line. Like, how much time am I willing to spend on this stuff and put girlfriends or other
Yeah.
career goals on standby to spend 30 hours on a YouTube video that might get 10 to 15,000 views, and
Yeah.
they're
No,
die. What's up?
no, I was gonna say that makes sense. But I think with you have this diehard community established among your subscribers that I think is pretty unique. And also like you
We're
diversify your content in a way where might be a lot of beer brewing, but it's also like you do it in a fun, entertaining way that not a lot of people do.
I
Like this,
appreciate that.
your two your 2 minute is it the
Hangover?
10 out of 10 hangover video?
Yeah.
Dude, I've showed so many of my friends that video, and oh my God, yeah,
I,
the way you just integrate so many different movie clips, and
yeah.
it's just
I think
cool.
I'm I think
I
I'm
wish,
on a
see,
touch of the
I
tism
wish,
in that regard. I got a little bit of the Rain Man, drop a
man, I
whole
don't know.
booklet of
Whatever
matches.
you did,
Yeah.
that
No,
video deserves way more
I
love.
I appreciate that. And I think when I first started making videos, it was more kind of like, okay, let's talk about the grain bill for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, or let's talk about what hops we're doing. Now, like my goal was to try to do like an 8 to 10 minute video, but have like a minute of beer in there. Because there's
Right.
most of the beer channels out there, and this is could be good, could be bad, but they're gonna break down like, okay, now we're gonna use 2 pounds of two row or 5 pounds, and now we're gonna use 1 pound. Like I don't want to watch that. I don't want to film that. I don't want to see it on both
Yeah.
sides. So the name of the game is to try to come up with like a minute intro and a minute outro that has nothing to do with even brewing. So
Yeah.
it's I've got a weird channel because my only videos that get subscribers now are a cider video and a bartending video.
Yeah. Because you probably already have um, most of your audience of the like diehard technical brewers. Those guys are probably already subscribed to you. And so it's probably, I mean, I deal with this too. It's sort of a balance between making the technical content that those people want to see, but also making it
For
lighthearted and
unique
entertaining to
visitors.
figure out how to like build your community too.
You definitely
And
nailed it though with the short format. That was something I slept on.
dude, I think I just got lucky with the timing, to be honest.
Well, I think as time evolves, more people are going to watch shorts, and I watch shorts now, even on my television. And you could learn a lot in a short. I mean, you could learn a lot in 59 seconds. You really can.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can.
And I'm making a video now just on cold brew coffee. And cold brew coffee, it's like, why are we still spending $5 on cold brew coffee? Like making your own food takes forever. Making your own alcohol takes forever. Making your own coffee is nothing. Why are we still spending like $6 on this? All you're doing is pretty much
Yeah,
taking. And then hit them with some bullshit. You're like, hey, today we're going to do I don't know, man, like a inflation buster, like how to take a stab at inflation or whatever. And then just
yeah,
put together a video like that. And I think a coffee video would work, like there's no girls that watch the channel except for the cider and the cocktail video. But as far as like the beer and the 5 gallon batches go, like they're very tough for me to brew. They're very tough for
yeah.
the video to make. I can't drink all
Very
the
niche.
beer. I
Oh
did.
yeah, that's true too.
It's a lot of beer, man. And the older I get, it's just tougher and tougher to drink a lot of beer. And
Well, dude, Kyle and I will have to help take some off your hands when we come visit.
100%. So I've got an electrician coming out on Saturday. The shed I was going to renovate, I'm just going to demo the whole thing and start from scratch. But I'll definitely have some beers out there. I've got to move my kegerator over to the new house. I'm kind of like stealing a buddy here and there. Like, hey, let's do a couple trips. I don't really want to pay someone for 8 hours. So I'm kind of, hey, can I
Yeah,
get you
I
for
get
a
that
trip here
too.
and there? And my new house is 2 blocks from where I live now, so it's just a straight shot up this little hill. But
Gotcha. So are you currently in you're currently in your old place?
no, this is the last stream, man. Shout out to everyone who's here. This is the
Oh
last
man,
stream in this house I've been at for 2 years now. So anybody who's been
legendary.
watching, what's up, the Brew Show? Trev Who, South O was out last week. We had a blast. I'm sorry on
Hey, what's up,
Saturday.
Nico?
I was crabby in the morning. He's new in town. What's this building? What's that building? What goes on here? What goes
Yeah,
on? I was
yeah.
like, bro, dude, like, we just listen to some music, dude. Like, I got to take a nap for an hour. But we had a blast. Trevor and I just hit all the good breweries, lived like kings. We met a buddy
That's
who
cool.
has like the nicest restaurant in town. He just hooked us up. We got drunk with him the
Oh
night
man.
before. He was like, come into Vita at 7:30. And we're like, okay, because you never know if it's drunk talk or, cocaine talk or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So me and Trevor show up to like the nicest restaurant in Knoxville, downtown on Gay Street at 7:30, and he's got his South O t-shirt on. I'm wearing some, Nordstrom collared shirt, and I'm like, they're like, hey, do you guys have a reservation? I said, yeah. I said, what's your name? I was like, well, my name's Casey. I'm like, we don't have a reservation for you. Like, fuck. What's your last name? Hardy? No, nothing. Trevor, you have a reservation? No, no Trevor's at 7:30. would it be under John Gatlin? And that was the name of the chef we were with the night before. He's like, yeah. So we bring us to this six top and we order a drink. And I think we ordered like one or two things. And then they kept bringing us out all this food. And we're telling the servers, like, no. Like, you guys are screwing up. Like, you guys are going to the wrong table. And they're like, no, we're not. And they literally just brought out like,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, 10, 12, maybe 14 of these small plates. And like, we get stuffed after the second one. So we've got like 6 to-go boxes now. We just look like a bunch of fucking idiots. It was wild, man. It was wild. But
that's a great situation to be in. What kind of cuisine is it?
Pan American, so a lot of seafood.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of seafood. It was wild, man. And we tipped
Sounds
them like $100 each or whatever. Like, I don't think anybody ended up getting hooked up at the end of the day except for the server. But it was just a good experience. And when you come out here with the Clawhammer guys, man, you're gonna Knoxville's awesome. I love Knoxville.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
it's gonna rip. I'm doing all my electricity stuff on Saturday. Demo the shed. I'll have some beers for you guys. We got to talk off the stream to try to figure out like what kind of stuff we want to shoot, because I do want to do some mead stuff. I'm gonna fucking go on Reddit and create all these accounts to bring you down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna steal your best recipe and I'm gonna do the exact same thing, because I wanted to start doing more small batch stuff with different fermentations. People get pissed off. People get pissed off if I want to do something video, or if I do like a food video. But if I just stick with fermentation, just stick with shooting with turning sugar into alcohol, we're all kind of under the same umbrella. We're all, you can't hate on that.
Unless that's something that I'm trying to get into as well. Like, I mean, so far all my content has been making mead, but I just
that's so crazy, man.
And I'm making beer. But the funny thing is, excuse me. You know, like we were saying before with the more experimental recipes and content, I would say like, I mean, it's hard to kind of classify the percentages, but probably 50% of my following are like hardcore homebrewers. They like the technical stuff. And they're there for my like serious recipes, like my actual good meads that I like try on.
Yeah.
And along with my more technical experiments, you know, where I've experimented using different types of yeast or fruit at different times, or blended versus full fruit, like all these different experiments that only brewers would care about, really. And so half my following is that audience, where the other half is just random people that like seeing what is fermentable, whether that be Mountain Dew, soda, candy. And so it's sort of a balancing act that I've kind of had to navigate in making content that caters to both of those people. And luckily, like, I think I've found a way where I've been able to do that. And I think, I mean, that just opens the door to so many more possibilities too. Like, I can continue doing the stuff that I genuinely like, because if you're a new follower to Golden Hive Mead, you're probably here for crazy recipes. But like, the way I got popular and the way that my following was established was
Mountain Dew,
the legitimate stuff that I care about. No, it was like my blackberry recipe and my raspberry recipe and the actual like good recipes. And so yeah, it's kind of just figuring out how I can post both of those types of content and make it fun and entertaining for everyone.
Yeah, you have a perfect, like, your videos, you obviously film without, you have a camera, right? You're not just doing that with your phone.
No, I do it all on my phone.
Fuck, that pisses me off even more. Now I'm going to create that Reddit account and troll the shit out of you. No, I'm just kidding. You do it all on your phone. Yeah, see, It's wild. You know, and the Brew Show does a lot with this phone too. If you know what you're doing, you don't need the nicest camera. But your pacing of it, you do like 40 to 50 different shots for a 59-second video. Or I don't know if all your videos are 59 seconds, but you have really good... There's no dead weights. As far as pacing goes, you definitely get an A+ in that category.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And there's a lot more that goes into it than what meets the eye. Like,
oh, for sure.
Everything is very meticulous, planned out and scripted.
There's a lot of ads showing up.
You know, it's as simple as the videos are. They take a lot of planning and preparation, and the editing takes me a while too. I'm not some master editor by any means, as you can probably tell. But the frustrating... I don't know how
you're also making mead. It's gotta, it's got to ferment for
Yeah.
a long time. You can't put this video out sometimes for months, right? So you have to always kind of have like something
No,
on the back burner going.
exactly. I've got like
All right, I'm going
X
in.
amount of batches brewing at one time, and I'm constantly like filming different stages of the process.
You
Yeah.
manage
By the way, guys,
yourself.
we're drinking this
We're doing the PB&J
beer.
mixtape. I know it's going to
So
drive a
good.
lot of people in here crazy. We're going to have fake troll accounts coming after us very soon too. But no, it's a great thing. I know you take a lot of heat. At the end of the day, you're bringing a lot of people into fermentation, and the people who have been around are going to have a hard time with that. But I mean, if you have haters and people that are pissed off at you, like, you're doing it right, man. Like,
Should we just get into it? Should we talk about it?
I'll talk about it as
You
much as you want to talk about it, but I know you get a lot of heat. I mean, when you first started, when your first video went viral, I would imagine you were getting it then, right? It's just a scale thing. If you get 100
No,
million views, there's going to be some guy in there that
no.
just
Well,
didn't get, invited to
I
places as a
mean,
kid.
that would make sense. I think that's probably what you would think, but it really wasn't until I started like turning it into a business and making my own products. That's when the things started to pop up. Up until that point, when I was just making content, um, I didn't. I don't think anybody had any issues with that, honestly. Or at least if there were, I didn't see it. I also like I'm not on Reddit really. I just people
Good
have tagged
man.
me and stuff recently, and I've seen some things. But let's get into it because
Yeah,
I
man.
haven't talked about this before. It's one of those things where a lot of the things are so ridiculous where I don't want to give. I just
You
I
take a
know
lot of
where.
heat and you don't want to say who's been giving it to you, but I think we could say
Well,
it
yeah,
without saying it because I think most people in here probably know. And dude, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. You're doing it right. I wouldn't give a
yeah,
fuck if I were you. I wouldn't give a fuck. No matter what you do, no matter what you do, whether you put out a tutorial or you do a giveaway, the people are going to be saying, well, it's a bad giveaway or it's bad information or this stuff's a ripoff.
yeah. There's certainly
Um,
truth to that.
and they're gonna
To
if you
be
dig up the dirt on their content and you go all the way back, they're doing the same fucking things. This
oh
is
man.
this is the biggest hypocrite shit
Well,
you'll ever come by. And they're gonna tell themselves we're looking out for the community. That's their word. That's their loophole to be able to say whatever they want. And it's all bullshit. It's all jealousy. I
that's
promise you 100% that's all it is. No one would give a fuck if you were selling this stuff and you didn't have shine behind it. No one would care at all. No one would care.
mm,
But, and I see it in the brew world.
yeah.
I can go down to Target and buy 3 t-shirts for $10. Does that mean I'm supposed to run to the designer stores that sell t-shirts for $80 and start screaming that they're overpriced, because I'm supporting the t-shirt community? Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's
Dude,
ridiculous.
I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, but I also think
The
the
t-shirt
vast majority
community.
of people in the like in the mead making and brewing community in general, I think most people come from a good spot. I think most people. I mean, there's going to be exceptions everywhere, but I think we all share the same hobby. We all like making mead and brewing at the end of the day. And I think people are looking out for new mead makers to some extent. Um, but I think the issue is I've introduced so many newcomers into this hobby, and then there's people that have been doing this for a long time that are, weary of the content that's getting put out there. And I think the issue is people don't fully understand where I'm coming from. No fault to their own necessarily. I think there needs to be more context, which I would love to kind of get into it a little bit because,
Are you getting like death threats and shit?
obviously, uh, not quite, not quite that level, luckily. But it's been, it's a lot, and I think prices are the main thing, as you mentioned, and I think most people in the chat probably have the same skepticism towards. I think a lot of people probably see my following and assume that I'm some giant company, or at least that I have an affiliate company of some sort. But I mean, it's quite the opposite. I explained this before, but my large following happened very authentically and recently, and before I started making any products. And so, starting the business side of things, where I started making kits and recipes and honey, that was all a product of what people were, what my established following was asking me for. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And I think, as you mentioned, there's a reason that if you buy from a small business or a local mom and pop shop, um, it's obviously going to be much more expensive than going to a Costco or Amazon.
100%.
And I think there's a reason for that. And a lot of people don't take the time to think about that and put me in those shoes and realize, oh, okay, I'm literally just a one-man show. It's just me running Golden Hive Meat LLC.
With a
And
phone, not even a camera, a
I mean,
smartphone.
yeah.
That's
And
wild.
I encourage
What up, Elementary?
people, to the people that are skeptical of the prices, I would encourage them to, think about if you want to make your own product, whether that be your own line of kits or honey or whatever that may be, how much do you need to buy up front? What are the costs of labels, packaging, getting things certified if needed, warehouse distribution or
Dude,
warehouse store
Charlie,
distribution,
you don't even have to
labor.
explain yourself, man. There's wine companies out there that the most expensive part of their bottle is just the label, and it
Yeah,
drives people crazy. And just do your thing, man. And people could break it down,
100%.
and they're low key promoting you. If I want to create this hate thing on Clawhammer right now, and I'm telling all these people, hey, fuck Clawhammer, he doesn't know what he's talking about. His shit's a scam. People are like, I didn't even know who Clawhammer was before. And then I go
Yeah.
over to their YouTube channel, like, I kind of like this stuff. Actually, I'm going to subscribe to the channel and keep watching more. Actually, the term like any press or bad press is good press, it 100% applies to you. It doesn't apply to Puff Daddy right now, but it applies to you. Like the whole,
Yeah,
it's
for
good. It's
sure.
always good press. No, it's not. But this is a perfect example of that.
And I think if people just took the time to like do the math themselves, they would realize, oh wait, this is one guy show, small business. Like, I mean, I get it. And I think the disappointing thing for me is there's big names in the mead making community, and people that I like
There
really
are.
looked up to, and like the reason that I kind of got started and learned a lot from that have been kind of they've been negative, and that's kind of been hurtful. But also like at the end of the day, I get it. Like, I mean, I don't support it, but at the end of the day, people can think what they want, and my goal is to continue making content that I like and that hopefully people like. And I'm not saying that cheaper options don't exist for certain products, but to say that I'm overcharging with the in an attempt to deceive newcomers or as a money grab, that couldn't be further from the truth. And I want to make sure that that's perfectly clear. And anybody that understands small business logistics will understand that. Um, so yeah, if I mean if you're listening right now and you get that, you're far ahead of a lot of people. So
And
thank you
again,
for at least
I had
appreciating
a
that.
I had a $50 bottle of champagne that Trevor just bought for me, and it tasted just like some $2 chuck from Trader Joe's. Do I need to run around and start telling everybody that there's better stuff over here for $2 or $5? No, like there's so much peace of mind and perceived value and psyche with buying stuff, and just leave it at
Yeah.
that. People buy stuff because it makes them feel good. They don't want to be over explained. They don't need to know that it's organic or the doctors and the lawyers have signed off. Like, I don't fucking care. It goes back to what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier about breweries. And breweries to me are now just pretty much t-shirts, like Kyle said,
Right.
we've all had bad beer. And I love a quote that Kyle said. He's like, beer doesn't really, it's not that much better or worse from one place to the next, but the brands are. The brands are
Mm.
significantly, and it's like, I used the Supreme T-shirt for an example. Everything's made in China. Everything's comes from cotton, made in China. It gets shipped over here. Why do little kids want this $60 T-shirt that costs 3 cents to make? Because they do, and they really want it, and they don't. And
And
the
it's
Supreme doesn't need to explain their margins. They don't need to explain shit where it comes from. People just want it, and we want to have it, and that's just the bottom line. So.
dude, it's not even that. If people saw my margins, they would be like, it would be very surprised. Let's put it that way. I'm certainly not making. I'm not getting rich on honey. I'll put it that way. Um, at all. And it's one of those things where like the kits, of course there are other mead making kits out there, but my following that I had saw my videos when they would go viral and they're like, "Oh, I want to do things the way Golden Hive Meat is doing it." And so there didn't exist kits that had the 1 gallon wide mouth glass fermenters or the 1 1/4 gallon the plastic fermented with the spigot. That didn't exist. Are there other kits out there? Yeah,
Dude,
but
I just
the
found
whole
one.
purpose of my kits are like so people can follow along and do exactly what I'm doing,
Yeah.
using the same stuff I'm doing, and I mean, same goes with my recipe guide too. It was
That
just based on demand.
that's a great point you just brought up. Because if people are watching, anybody, this chef or this guy do sous vide or whatever, and you can buy this kit, and I don't have to buy like another third party thing and figure it out. That's a huge bonus for both sides.
Yeah,
Both sides are
100%.
happy in that regard. Because one of the
One
biggest
thing,
questions are, so you watch these people are watching homebrew videos. Well, they probably watch a few channels, and we're all brewing on different systems. The biggest question is, what do I brew on? What do I
yeah,
ferment in? And there's
and,
a lot of
and
that's a full on subjective, debate that could go on forever.
part of the reason somebody gets a kit is because they want that convenience of not having to go and look for things individually. And one of the things people say to me is, okay, why not put out like a shopping list where people can build the kit themselves? I, in case you didn't know, I've done that, and I have a list. Like I had an Amazon shopping list so people could go make their kits with all the stuff, and people still didn't want that. They wanted the kits. They wanted a place where they could buy everything all at once. So it's like, I mean,
Makes sense. Checks out. And big shout out to my buddy Bergs right now, my coworker Zool. I love you, dog. I missed you at Pyro Bar last night. We do have a chat in here, Charlie. I don't know if you've got the YouTube video pulled up on another window, but you're getting a lot of questions. But we could do this for a couple hours. It's all good.
yeah,
Zach
no,
Pearson
for sure.
said it, bottom line. It's a free country. You start your business if you like. And at the end of the day, I know you're taking a lot of heat or whatever, but it's as far as like it's your brand, fucking let them talk all the shit and, low key promote you all you want. It's not like you're getting death threats or there's personal stuff or people are making fake accounts of your mom and putting like a porn star's body on it, shit like that. Cause I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
I used to be in a retro video game community and there was this dude that was rigging giveaways to get followers, like, hey, I'll give away a brand new PlayStation 5. Like me, follow me, tell two friends, and then he'd buy a PlayStation 5 and give it to his friend. His friend would post the picture. And this dude was straight up getting like people were calling his job and be like, we're going to try to kill this guy and get him fired, So that's like a whole other personal level, and he kind of deserved that, in a lot of ways. But I'm
First of all,
kind of kidding.
dude, I appreciate your support.
Dude,
Have somebody like you have my back. It means a lot because a lot of people
got your
don't
back,
see
man.
things
Got everyone
the way
back.
we do.
Everyone's back in here except for the Bruce Show. He's the main
Okay,
troll.
last thing I'll say
I'm
about
kidding.
it, and it might not be the last thing because I'm happy to answer questions.
It's not gonna be the last thing.
There's
Not
always
with me
gonna
here
be
drinking
people that
beers.
there's always going to be people that do things differently, whether that be, a different process of brewing. You've probably experienced that too, especially with the PB&J stuff, the experimental stuff. But one of the things people bring up is, oh, I'm not doing things the most efficient way, or this is potentially dangerous. Which, I mean, to be fair, when I find better ways or safer ways to do things, I'm the first person to say like, oh, by the way, this method of doing it is better than the way I showed you previously, and I update my recipes and processes accordingly. So that's kind of a separate thing, but unfortunately what goes around on Reddit and online is focused on my old stuff. So, I mean, that's neither here or there, but part of the thing I've been struggling to navigate is, do I make a video like addressing all this, kind of giving my perspective, or do I just, you know, continue doing what I'm doing and just not think twice about it? And so, I mean, you people in the chat, let me know, like, did my explanation here kind of give you a better perspective? Is it
Fuck,
worth putting a video out,
I wish I had haters like you, man. Only in dreams can I have it's jealousy disguised, brother. It's just jealousy disguised.
I think you're being a little too nice, but I appreciate it.
And here's the thing: you could come out and you could get 10 million subscribers. How many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now? You're coming up on 1 million. You got to 500,000 pretty fast.
650, I think.
Fucking A. You could give away a block of gold for hitting 1 million. And the people that are angry, they'll find their loophole. Oh, it's dangerous. Oh, you should give away 2 pounds of gold. Like it's their loophole to be narcissists, and they're going to say it's to protect the community. And the people that are under that kind of junior high school cliquey Reddit or Discord thing will buy into it. But everybody else from the outside, They could snip this shit out from a mile away. You have what people want, man. You have
I
a
just hope people
following.
realize that. Yeah, and I hope my following realizes that I'm not deceiving people and I'm not trying to take advantage of everybody. And I'm just a guy trying to, deliver hits and useful content that hopefully
Dude,
introduces new people to the hobby. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing to me. And I think, shout out Kyle Clawhammer. This is his quote, but he said, the only way I would make people happy with making my own honey is if I went to the beehive and dug it out with my hands and got stung by all the bees in the process.
dude, and they'd still be pissed off. They'd want your ass dead, dude. Straight up. Macaulay Culkin from My Girl. They'd want you stung by a bee and just dead. People are angry. People are always going to be angry. Again, in the last video I made, you can have a choice. To the people that hate the PB&J thing, you could either be inspired by it or you could let it drive you crazy. We can control that, like the viewer, the audience member,
right.
so
100%. And you know what? I'm getting better at that too. At first it was tough, not gonna lie, but at the end of the day,
fuck, I'm so jealous of your haters. I get like one a week that I sound like a special needs version of Nicolas Cage. That's it. I want that.
Guarantee that you'll be claimed on Reddit for having me on your show. So be on the lookout for
Hey
that.
man, like I said, it's low key promotion. It really is. We've talked about trolls on this before. I think it was the Brew Show. And to really be the best troll of all time is just to ignore it by any means necessary. If someone disses you or you don't like something, you don't talk about it. You don't create fake Reddit or Instagram accounts for it. You just you don't thumbs up it. You don't comment some effed up shit. You just ignore it. That's the best way to be a troll. Because anything else you're doing, whether you give it a thumbs down or you say you stupid motherfuckers on a comment section, that counts as engagement for the algorithm.
That's where I went wrong too. As soon as I started seeing the negative stuff on Reddit,
CH, you're the ugliest motherfucker of all time. I knew that. Thank you for watching the video. I'm not going to delete that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying, like, that's where I went wrong. When this stuff first started surfacing on Reddit, I would go and reply. And, I was coming from a place of sharing my perspective and starting my business and where prices are coming from, my rationale behind everything. And I realized that, there's going to be people that don't like you for whatever it is you do. And those types of replies that I would put out there only made it worse, seemingly. So, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Do you write people back? You can't write everybody back, right? There's no way. You probably get thousands of comments.
I would just, when I saw a negative post, I would just put my 2 cents in one reply and then not look at it anymore. And people can take that for what it's worth. But
you can
I'm not even going to do that anymore.
You can hit them with the mind fuck. You can kill them with kindness or hit them with the Snapple bottle. Sometimes like, hey, you don't know shit. Don't feed the trolls. Donated $3, man. Much love. Chris Vodka, what's up, you Raj?
I appreciate you.
Big shout out to Don't Feed the Trolls. But dude, you can mind fuck them. They'll be like, yo, CH, you don't know what you're talking about. Your beard looks like shit. You fucking wannabe hipster. And I'll write back like, hey, it just sounds like we just need to hang out more. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? And then they're like, nothing. What time do you want to, like, they're like, I gotta be nice. This guy just mind fucking. Or hit him, dude, hit him with the Snapple bottle. What's up, Golden Hive Mead? You don't know shit. All your stuff's a fucking scam. I hate you. Hit him like the average mosquito flaps its wings 4 million times a second. Like it's just, what?
Have you seen the Keen?
Okay, you win. I'll leave you alone. Yeah, you got to hit him with it, man.
Translator in the background.
What's up?
You know what I'm talking about?
What's up?
Like the Key and Peele skits, the anger translator.
No, but I'm a huge fan of the show.
Oh, okay. So I think he's like Obama's anger translator, and he's saying all the things that Obama's thinking, but he's too nice to say in person. I need one of those because I'm too, like, I like to think that everybody comes from a good spot, and I don't like to see the negativity in people.
At the end of the day, you owe nobody anything. Before you came on and we started even, texting with each other, Kyle and Emmett said you're genuine, super nice guy. You sent me your mead, paid for shipping on the house. Nothing like, hey, can I get a shout out or a collab? Or you just sent me mead. There's
Yeah.
not one bad thing you have done.
Oh, dude.
Not even you've just been killing it. And I
I
don't know if
appreciate you, bro.
yeah, I appreciate you too. And I think maybe that your age thing might be a factor. Like if there was like some 60-year-old dude wearing like a lab technician coat, people wouldn't be as mad. But you know, you're younger guy, the older guy's gonna be like, you know, let's first day of school this guy. But at the end of the day, man, fucking whatever you're doing,
You know
just
what?
keep doing it.
I would love to sit down and drink some mead with those people and have a conversation with them, and I think they would come out with a different perspective on things.
Fuck them.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna
do your thing. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Northwest Small Batch. What's up, Sparger? Good to see. Shout out to Bergs again, my coworkers in here. The Barrage Meister, the morale booster over at Zool. Love to see it. Love to see it. What's up, Gnome? Clawhammer's the moderator. Big shout out to everybody that's got the poopy, the dookie next to him. Those guys have been supporting this channel for over a year. I think it's about $3 a month. I should put out more streams. It's like once a month these days. I hosted last week. I'm moving this week. Trying to get a stream maybe next Wednesday. Trying to get my cold brew coffee video out. I'm going to kind of riff off you. I've been thinking about this video for a long time where I just want to go down. Did you ever watch Genus's channel where they were doing Will It Beer, but they were like putting like lobsters and enchiladas on this stuff? Yeah. I would be like, Will It Beer, can we start with like just maple syrup or Nutella or something? You know, I like
that's a great idea.
Nutella, yeah. Like just will it ferment out, and what do we get with this, and how much original gravity does it start with, and how do we have to back sweeten it? I'm gonna make that video.
I thought about doing the exact same thing.
Well, we'll do a collab. We'll figure it out. What's up, Jorge Castro, down there in Puerto Rico? Let's go, baby.
Right.
Bergsy.
It only feels right for us to get together and do something crazy like that for at least one of the videos we filmed together. But hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for supporting too, and let us know what type of content we should film together, because we're gonna be collabing in a few weeks. So
we're gonna be collabing in like a month. Yeah, like in a few weeks now is like a couple days. I mean, I don't know about your guys' lives, so my life is just going by way too fast these days.
Dude, yeah.
I think the older you get, the faster time goes by, which sucks to think about, but I think it's true. But for those,
how old are you?
39, but if anybody asks, 26. But I'll be 40 in January.
Is that disrespectful to ask? I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
like a day over 25.
I appreciate that, man. As long as I trim it up a little bit, shave the neck beard, keep it under 200 pounds, I can get away with some, lying about a half decade off. But for those who do not know, we've been in here for, that was a fast 47 minutes. This is Charlie, Golden Hive Mead. He's got some links in the description. He's got real links. You've got Instagram, YouTube, and an actual website. CH's links are Nintendo or Twitch, my Nintendo ID, Facebook, and Instagram.
Respect. Those are the important things.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get on that.
Yeah. Have you done a coffee coffee video yet?
You know what? I'm happy you brought that up, because
Tombstone Todd wants to know. I want to know too.
I was just gonna actually put you in contact with my boy Ethan Road on Instagram. He's a big coffee dude. Big coffee channel, awesome content. But we were gonna do some like coffee meads together. I don't want to spoil it too much, but the idea was he was gonna come up with four of his favorite
that could be a
coffee
thing. That could be a
fucking, like 4 of his favorite lattes or coffee drinks, and then I was gonna make meads that replicate those. So
you got Starbucks knocking at your door.
I'm sure you can make some insane beer with that.
Would love to do it. Would love to get connected to hear more about it. This year is all about me kind of doing shorter stuff, cocktail stuff.
Nice.
Whatever, man. At the end of the day, we're converting sugar into alcohol. Everything else, whether you're a commercial brewery or you're a TikToker, we're trying to figure out how to monetize it. At the end of the day, we're turning sugar into alcohol and having fun.
I want to go through some of the recipes that I have planned for the summer, if you don't mind.
Bruce. Go for it.
You know what? If I they would probably make some good beers too. But
Let's go.
so this is
Look,
based
I'm gonna be
on what
honest. I
my
don't really like beer that much.
I a lot of the times the motivation behind certain videos that I make are based on recommendations on Instagram. I'll just like post questions like what should I make next, and then I'll make what people want. But the first one is bomb pops. You know, like the popsicle, um, like the popsicle bomb pops, the red, white, and blue ones.
I know. What's a Kadoozy? It's a Kadoozy.
Okay.
So
Is
no,
that the
to
same
answer your
thing?
question, no. Sounds like the exact same thing, though.
Okay, you're like that. They look like that.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
like
I think
normal.
it's a Kadoozy, but okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
So we're
it's a
gonna melt
Kadoozy.
those down and ferment them into a mead. Um, a lot of people have been asking for a dandelion mead or dandelion wine. Apparently, that's a popular thing in Europe, but I haven't seen a lot in the U.S. But I've been getting a ton of requests, and of course, we've got the PB&J mead. If you guys have just joined the stream, um, we've both been drinking the PB&J mixtape beer,
Yes, we
which is
have.
excellent.
Shout out to Zool.
So I totally need to make a PB&J mead. I actually just made a Concord grape mead that was excellent, and I thought about adding PB2 in secondary, but I wasn't sure how it would work. I thought it might be too clumpy. Um, so I think I'm just gonna turn it into its own video, make a PB&J mead from scratch. And then I also want to
PB&J right now, man. Strike while the iron's hot, man. I mean, it's
100%.
and everybody loves PB&J except for the people that die from peanut allergies. But they probably like it too. They just can't have it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Tyler if you're listening. I know you got a peanut allergy, but we'll enjoy the PB&J mead for you.
Peanut allergy IPA.
And then of course, on top of that, we'll dive into the candy, gummy worms, Skittles. The world is our oyster.
The world is our oyster, and nostalgia works. The stuff that's still around, I think it'd be cool to do like a chocolate variation, get some Heath bars in there. Everyone was, I think the people that watch my channel are, 10 years older or younger, give or take. Sorry to the guys that are a little bit older than that in here, but like, yeah, man, like get some Snickers bars in here, some Nerds, or some
Did you
Abba Zaba.
Did you see my video where I tried to make a Shamrock Shake mead?
Not yet. I'm gonna be honest right now. I haven't seen that video.
So the idea was I had a traditional mead, which you're not super familiar with mead making. Traditional means it's like just honey as the primary fermentable sugar, nothing else. And so I wanted to kind of replicate the flavors in a Shamrock Shake. So add like mint and vanilla and like a creaminess. And I added like fresh mint leaves, cacao nibs, which are essentially just chocolate flavor.
That's how you pronounce it? I've been saying it wrong. Cacao?
Cacao, yeah. Yep.
Shit, okay.
Oh, it's different from cocoa. Cacao
Cocoa.
is the actual like it's
Cocoa
the
ale?
shell of the husk or something.
Okay.
I don't quote me on that. I could be very wrong. And it ended up tasting like mouthwash. I left the mint sit for way too long, and I actually ended up working with some professional chefs to like figure out what flavors balance mintiness to try to save this, because you never want to dump mead. The longer you let it sit, usually the better it gets, and I feel like
The less sweet it gets, correct?
not necessarily. I mean, when it ferments, yeah, but I'm saying like during the aging process,
Got
once it's already fermented, and the flavors kind of can evolve and change over time. But yeah, I ended up adding a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of white tea leaves, which is supposed to kind of simmer down some of the intensity of the mint.
Make it a little bit more
And it ended up tasting
salvageable.
really good.
Good. Good for you, man.
And you know what? If you're interested in like a mint chocolate chip flavored mead, I'll bring you some.
I'm
'cause
super
it's
down.
actually pretty good. Yeah,
You might be
cool.
shipping it to the new address. So let's go back. Okay, 25 years old, got into mead. How many batches have you done?
Oh man.
1 gallon batches, correct?
Yeah, I always
Give
do
or
1
take
gallon.
10%-ish for the most part.
Closer to 15.
Whoa, okay. My
Mhm.
style. Now we're cooking with grease.
To answer your question, in the few years I've been doing this, I've probably made over 100 batches.
Okay, I'm probably around there. To be honest with you, like I couldn't even tell you because I
Which-
don't really brew that much anymore.
Yeah, and
But how old
Like,
were
to
you
be
when you
totally
when you
frank-
did your first batch? Were you even 21 or were you freshman in
was-
college?
Yeah, I was 21. It was 2022 when I started, so it's been a couple of years. So yeah, I mean, one people see my
How much
following and
money do
they
you make? No, I'm kidding. You can tell me that. I'm just kidding.
uh,
I'm kind of kidding.
unfortunately not a lot.
You
But I
had a
love
write up in the
so,
New York Post, bro. That's fucking incredible.
you know what's funny? They never like contacted me when they posted that article. They just did it without like behind my back.
Did you do an interview or did they kind of just
No.
steal what you were saying? Okay.
The only person that interviewed me was eBombs World, which is like a old 2000s blog website,
Okay.
and like New York Post, Men's Journal, they all kind of took from that, which is
Okay.
so funny. But like I don't care at all. Like luckily it's only been positive and funny things so far, so I mean I don't have an issue with it. But it's just funny. Like no, I never like was interviewed. I never gave people permission to use anything, but I mean I also put it out there publicly, so they can probably do whatever they want with it.
Outside of the
Um,
exposure though, no one's ever given you $1
uh,
for
no.
the New York Times and the Men's Journal and the
Oh, no, not at all.
that's
No.
wild, man. That's wild. And they're pretty much just recycling the same information. Kind of like
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, they've probably made so much money off my content.
Yeah, but you get the exposure for it, so it's kind of like
Yeah,
a
no, that's what
you know,
I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
that's totally fine. I'm cool with it. At the
So
end of the day, it
you got
helps me.
chefs coming out to you, the Men's Journal. That's funny, man. Just flipping through, you got some Arnold Schwarzenegger steroid muscle milk thing, and then you flip the page and it's your article. That's awesome, man. That's badass. That's why people are upset with you. That's why your mead
Yeah.
community people. It's the stuff like that that's going to drive them crazy. But that's awesome, man. You're making mead at home, and you're in some of the biggest columns ever. So it's incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Only in
Doesn't feel
dreams,
real.
man. Only in dreams.
One of the things too is, I mean, like I said, I've only been doing this for a couple of years. I think a lot of people see my following and probably expect that I'm some mead making expert or that I've been doing this for 20 years, which is far from, I don't claim to be an expert. Part of the reason I think people follow me and like my content is because I'm doing experiments. I'm learning things the hard way. I don't claim to know exactly what I'm talking about, but I try to be as accurate as possible. And when I learn new things, I share those learnings. But yeah, I think that's sort of the fun of it is it got popular because I was kind of learning and doing things alongside my following too. So I think a lot of people don't realize that.
And you hit the nail on the head. And there are people that act like experts. There's a lot of people that think like this is because I do it this way. This is the book of medicine, or this is California code, but like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had Brulosophy on here, he was like, when I first started putting out content, we were looked at as the Mythbusters because everything back in the day was you
Yeah.
needed a glass carboy, everything needed to ferment for 2 weeks or a month, and there was a lot of
Dude,
pages filled that were ultimately like just dead weight, like fear factors, just to sell books and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
right.
at the end of the day, everything evolves. And I love when I hang out
Yeah.
with brewers and they're just like, man, as soon as you learn one thing, you're so humbled to learn about this new water chemistry thing or whatever that was right under your nose the whole time. But anybody who does act like a lawyer or something, like they're a piece of shit. And I do from time to time in videos, I want to let them know that like I'm doing this for the first time. And in all fairness and,
Yeah.
and without, me thinking of myself as a hypocrite, I made a video about Josh Wiseman a couple of years ago when I first moved out here.
Yep.
And I think there was a
He's
lot
more
of,
of a chef, right?
he's a chef. He's got a huge following,
Yeah.
super inspiring in that regard. Like I know he works his ass off, very popular, but
Hmm.
people will do one thing one time on YouTube and they'll act like they've done it 1,000 times. And we edit these
Uh,
videos. We could chop it up. We can make it look. It's not a live stream. It's not a live stream.
yeah.
And I could tell that he made beer on the fly for the first time, and it got a lot of views. And Kyle made the same video too. And I gave him a lot of context in the video.
Hmm.
I don't think it so much came from anger. It was just kind of like he's a very kind of like snarky. He's got a personality. I don't know if it's like this in real life, but when he's on camera, everything's like, "Don't do that. Everything's bad, bad, bad." Like here's what you're doing wrong. Like that. And I was like, okay, this is a pretty easy guy to kind of tee off on right now.
Yeah.
And
No, I get that.
What's that? Did you see that video?
That
Oh,
I didn't see the video, but I totally get where you're coming from.
yeah, ultimately, I got the impression that he was trying to act, and at the end, he said something like, "The problem with breweries is that they brew beer for them and not for you." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. This really is kind of a lot of bad information.
Just
Like,
kind
I'm
of
gonna make this
rubbing people the wrong
video,
way.
but not only that, but like, hey, I respect the guy outside of that. He can act like he's every recipe he's ever made, food wise, he's done it 1,000 times. And realistically, I know he hasn't done that because there's only so many hours in the day. But if you kind of let people know that, like, hey, I'm kind of learning all this stuff on the fly too. That's the cool thing about home brewing or home meeting is that we're not gonna, submit this to our tasting
And
room on Friday. Like we
yeah,
could throw it
yeah,
out if we want to. We didn't. We're not going to do a 10-gallon batch. It's going to cost us $1,000. Like we could just have some fun with it. And I think that there's always like that a thing where people. I remember Just Brewing dude out there in Austin was like, "Oh, my
mm,
stout video was bad. I got to scrap the whole video." It's like, dude, no. You like at the end of the video say this is where it went wrong and it's not that good. Don't be afraid to be like it's not the best. This isn't the because you can say
and
that. You could totally you
you know
can say
what?
whatever you want
Maybe
on fucking YouTube and bullshit everyone.
I think that is where I need to be better because I think I've had such a spurt of followers recently, and maybe I just need to be more transparent with that, and maybe that'll help with things. But like one example that I can actually relate to, the guy you were talking about is, a lot of the old winemaking books that I've read and used as inspiration for my recipes.
It's out the
A lot
window
of them would
now.
say to add,
Yeah.
use acids in primary fermentation, add X amount of acids right away, and that's what I always did, and it worked fine for me. But people were having issues because their yeast was stalling and they weren't getting fast fermentations. And it turns out that there's mead makers that have been doing this for 15 years where yeah, you don't want to add acids in primary fermentation. And I just learned that. Like I didn't know that that was a thing. And when I learned that, I explained it and I updated my recipes and I said, okay, actually add your acids in secondary fermentation and it'll actually speed up your fermentation and just help ensure that you have more a more susceptible environment for yeast to do their thing. But that's one of those things that I learned from, and people were picking me apart for that on Reddit. But it's like, okay, you got to remember, I'm learning as
People were
I
low
go
key
too.
shouting you out on Reddit. That's how I'm translating. They were low key shouting you out on
Yeah,
Reddit
but I mean, I'm just
or
saying,
high key.
my stuff certainly wasn't perfect. But maybe that's the key. Just be transparent with you know where you're at in terms of learning certain information and when you're trying new things, when you learn new things, and I think that can only help.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I've said it before. You talk to 10 different brewers, you're going to get 10 different answers. You talk to 10 different mechanics.
That's true too. Yeah,
I'm, I'm,
everybody's got their own
I'm,
preferences with
yeah,
even the fermentation vessels they use.
dude, I'm working on my house right now, and I bought a house that's got shitty electricity. But the Romex is in the crawl space, and I can get to it. And I used to know more about like home runs and daisy chaining and stuff like that. But I did hit up a couple
Okay.
buddies, and they all gave me back like a little bit different information how to go about like
Yeah.
the junction box stuff, and it'll all get the job done at the end of the day. So for the guy to come in and be like, "Well, you're doing it wrong or this way," it's like maybe he's got a little bit more credibility. Like a licensed electrician probably would be like, rip it all out and start from scratch. Most people that buy
Yeah.
houses, all their shit's spliced with old wire, new wire, stuff like that. It'll get the job done, and it's way more affordable.
No, I think
So
yeah,
anybody who
I work
acts
with
like
that.
it's my way or the highway, like kiss my ass. And it's a scary thing to have that douchebaggery persona of yourself. Well, if this guy does it the way that I don't do it, like I need to let everyone know now. It's like that's a scary human. Like that's a
And
fucking dude that's not coming to my bars in my house. Like that.
that's sort of the
That's a
reason why
Yelper. That's the Yelp guy or the Reddit guy. Like it's my way or
100%
the highway.
you're
It's like, dude, you're just letting people know on on a public platform that you're a
I
pile
think
of
I think
shit.
most people get that too, which is good. And that's part of the reason why I started doing like my own experimentation too, because there were certain ways that, you know, some people preferred adding the yeast dry. Some people preferred hydrating the yeast. What's the right answer? There's
There's
not a
whole
lot of
books on it.
experimentation of people actually doing it, so why not do it myself? And I've got dozens of experiments like that, and I think that's very valuable and fun for me too.
I did a video on that. I did a
Oh,
dry
really?
Kveik, Lutra Kveik versus liquid Kveik, and I got way
Yep.
better. I got faster results and better beer from the dry stuff, which makes me happy because you can do the
Well,
dry stuff on Amazon, and the liquid stuff
that's
is
super
tough
interesting.
as shit to get because it's got shorter shelf life. It goes bad
Yeah.
faster. It's more of
No,
a
that's
it's more of a it's more of a scare factor for a mom and pop homebrew store. They would love just to have dry yeast.
good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was just using like
Nick
the little
Smith.
like 12 in dry packets, and I like hydrated one that as said on the instructions, and I just added one like the packet by itself.
Yeah.
And the dry one fermented faster
Right.
and cleared faster, I think. But the hydrated one like tasted significantly better. So it's like you can totally get away with doing both if you want to save time, but like, it's kind of up to you.
That
Taste it yourself and see what you prefer. If it's that big of a deal, then, at the end of the day, they both work.
and this is why this stream is awesome. Because it's not like two minds are better than one. There's 50
Right.
people in here that'd be like, hey, well, I did this experiment side by side, and I got better
Yeah.
results from the cheaper thing or whatever. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
grab a couple more beers. You want to hold it down with the chat?
Sweet. Yeah.
All right, we can do an NBC. Hold on, we'll do an NBC.
Just say it.
Told me.
I told him that.
Yeah, and he gave me the recommendation to check out Revolution Brewing, the
Yes.
brewery in Chicago. That place was sweet.
I guess like that's their hype brewery or successful brewery. I'm gonna make a
Oh,
video
nice.
on this whole hype thing now. Hype thing. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
again, big shout out to this is Blair from Souls and Spirits who came in to my work and gave this to me last Friday. And it wasn't, when people typically drop beers off, it's for the owners. But this guy was like, hey, I love your channel. And thanks for watching. He was going to Asheville to chill out and he brought me a 6-pack. And right now we're going to showcase the Hopper Bullock right here. Hazy IPA 6.7. See if we can get some hops on here.
Dude,
Produced
mean-
for kings and queens. I like that.
throughout like college, like the last few years, I haven't been much of a beer drinker. I do enjoy
Is it a gluten
basic
thing?
beers. No, not at all. At first I didn't like the taste, but I do now. I'm starting to get into it. And
We're gonna be drinking
Kyle,
a lot of beer in Knoxville,
Cla-
Charlie. You better
shout
believe
out Kyle
that.
Hammer again, but I told him I'm like, yeah, I've been. My dad likes IPAs, and
It's a
I've been
great
trying to
color.
get in IPAs, but they're too bitter for me. I like how they smell, but I don't like the bitterness. I just like the aromatics, and so Kyle put me on to hazy IPAs, and that's all I've been drinking for like the last few months. I'm a huge hazy IPA guy now.
This is a good fucking beer. This is a good fucking beer. And this is a hazy IPA. Big shout out to Midnight Madness. Tip $5 for the love of the game, man. Helping me move out. Buy some junction boxes. Those little octagon metal things. Some Klein tools so I could check some outlets without getting zapped.
Wow.
I'm going to give this dude a shout out. This is awesome. Blair Soul and Spirits. Where is this guy?
Yeah, dude, I didn't realize how good hazy IPAs were. It's like you get all the aromatics and flavor of the hops without like the bitterness.
Craft beer would be a weird thing without hazy IPAs because they are like keeping a lot of places alive. It's not the West Coast IPAs, and I do love West Coast IPAs, but I don't really drink them that much.
Like What's a juicy IPA?
Same
How is that
thing.
different from a hazy IPA?
Same thing. Nomenclature.
Oh,
Just
okay.
yeah. The bottom line is that it's West Coast versus East Coast. West Coast is bitter. It's the hoppy stuff. East Coast, you want it as juicy as possible. And there's a lot of different names: juicy, hazy, New England, Northeastern. But the bottom
Gotcha.
line is like you want it to be as cloudy as humanly possible, kind of like this. A little bit of hot burn. I like the hot burn. The hot burn could rub some people the wrong way. It doesn't rub me the wrong way. Are you familiar with Treehouse? Them and Hetty Topper are probably like
I yeah.
they're
I don't think I've
delicious.
tried it.
Oh, let me give this bro a shout out.
Hey, thank you, Will. That was a nice comment.
What's up, Will? What's going on, Braj? Unicycle Master. Good to see you too, Warren Cox. Ron Barnes is still here. Nick Smith, much love. Pittsburgh Nick out there.
I should probably share what I'm drinking, huh?
Yes.
I'm going with my strawberry rose mead that I made recently. And this was actually made from a homemade strawberry syrup that I made. So I basically just heated up strawberries on the stove, strained out the syrup, fermented that with honey, and then added dried rose petals. And it's super good. It's better than my like actual strawberry mead that I made from fresh fruit. So yeah, it's 11.5%.
Damn, Sam.
So it's tasty.
How much do you drink? Like, what are your quantities? No, I'm not like that, but like, what do you like? 4-ounce pours? There's like a.
I mean, maybe more than that. But to be honest, I don't drink. It's not like I'm drinking meat every single night.
I know
Most
you
of the
can't. You
stuff
put
I
out
make,
you put out too much content to be a degenerate alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
I give most of it away. I'll usually save like 1 or 2 bottles per batch to age, and then I'll give the rest away to family and friends.
Love it.
But I've really been into bourbon lately. Are you a bourbon drinker?
Yes, but I got to kind of like really chill out with my liquor these days because it could escalate a little bit, especially like after midnight. Yes, I'm a bourbon drinker. To answer your question, I pretty much only drink pretty much anything except for vodka and gin. I just can't do those. And like the black licorice stuff, the Underbergs and the Jägermeisters, but bourbon, whiskey, mezcal, tequila, that's kind of my wheelhouse. But
Gotcha.
it's kind of expensive. These craft cocktail bars, even in Knoxville, Tennessee,
Yeah.
everyone's got like the California
100%.
prices
Yeah,
now,
same
15
around
bucks, and you're not just going to buy one, you know?
Dude, I was visiting my buddy in LA a few weeks ago, and I couldn't believe the prices. And I lived in New York for 2 years, and California is just a different animal.
Is it more expensive than New York?
In LA, yeah.
That's wild. Because New York, I think, used to be the most expensive. Matt,
Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, I didn't live like in Manhattan. I lived just outside of the city.
okay.
So it's probably closer comparison to compare New York City to LA, but I mean, let's be real, neither of them are the cheapest places to live. Far
No,
from it.
they're kind of the same place, sort of.
Yeah.
Like politically, economically, they have a lot in common. Big shout out to Matt Hammond, tip $5. Can't wait to see the new Homebrew for Life Cribs tour. There's some eyesores. I got to redo the windows. I don't know if I want to do those myself. But the good thing about windows is you don't have to do them all at the same time. Electricity I could do, fix the fart fans, fix the a lot of the stuff. I mean, I've got a construction background, but there's always YouTube
right.
University. There's a lot of easy stuff too, just figuring out like I've got a hole in my crawl space. So, rain and pests and stuff like that. Like I could patch that up really easily, but it's pretty close to the HVAC on the outside. But if you kind of know what you're doing, man, you can
That stuff
you can
seems
save a
fun,
lot
too.
of money. I've thought about starting a new YouTube channel, just like how to make a ceiling fan or put in a ceiling fan or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, stuff like
Dude.
that. Big shout out to Nick Smith for becoming a barrage, man. Damn, this is one of the faster streams that's gone by. We're an hour 15 minutes in. Does it feel like an hour 15?
I mean, you know what? I don't do this every week.
It goes fast.
It feels like it's going fast for sure. Christopher asked if I'm going to do an orange crush mead. I think that's a great idea.
Orange Crush.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the Mountain Dew video brought you so much more exposure? Because I had friends in San Diego that were sending me that video. I didn't know about you
Uh,
until the Mountain Dew video because you've been around for
that
a
was the
bit.
very first like crazy
YouTube?
recipe I've ever done. So I think people were just kind of taken aback by it. Like they were like, oh shit, this
Okay.
guy went from making like regular mead making content to fermenting Mountain Dew. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a little bit worried about my Baja Blast mead. I'll tell you why. The air conditioning in my apartment has been out for the last 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually just fixed it today. So we're all good now. It's nice and cool in here, but it's been 80 degrees in my apartment for the last month, and I don't know
You're in
how.
an apartment? Looks like you're in like an A-frame right now.
Yeah, no, that's a staircase. Yeah, I'm in an apartment.
Got it. Okay, never mind. I thought you were in
But
an attic.
for the yeast I use, like the upper limit
Bent
for
gate.
ideal temperature conditions is typically under 80. I
Mm.
also like that experience where mead brewed at a higher temperature produces more of those like fusel, like spicy, smoky alcohols.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that it's slowed down bubbling. Not that that's a direct correlation with fermentation, but I'm a little concerned about it. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to redo that one. I know a lot of people are gonna be disappointed to hear that.
I got a potential idea that I think could be good for you and maybe
Yeah,
bad for
yeah.
a brand. What about this?
Mhm.
Big shout out to Ben Gate in here right now too. And big shout out to Warren Cox being a member for 19 months, man. 19 months in the Barrage Army.
Wow, that's
I love the
crazy.
support, man. I love to see it. Charlie, hear me out. Everybody
Hmm.
knows that the Mexican Coke is better than the American Coke because they use the real sugar, the azúcar. What about doing a side by side with that? Because that could be very different. And if it's very different,
Uh,
it's going to scare a lot of people. Like, what the fuck
yeah,
is in
no,
the American
100%.
stuff?
I mean, like I
Splenda?
said, I worked at Pepsi. I know exactly like what goes into the different um, sodas that are from different countries because a lot of them are actually taxed differently on certain ingredients. So that's why
Ooh.
there's a difference in sweeteners and stuff. But you could certainly compare like two different sodas from different countries and have vastly different results. So that could be a really good idea.
Yeah, and that could be a very bad thing for the guys upstairs to see too. Like if it came out completely different, like whoa, like what was the sugar in this one? I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
you're gonna.
it's
I feel like your possibilities are endless. You know, there's so much soda
for
and
sure.
candy and mead and 7-Elevens
Yeah.
and Wawas and
I mean,
Kenjos.
like I've thought about like starting to make my own like beer and get into that a little bit too. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, like you said, there's so many different paths like I could see things going.
What about
Steven just
cereals?
asked. Oh, uh, funny you asked that because Clawhammer and I just made a honeycomb cereal beer. I might post that tomorrow, actually.
Okay, because I know you were there a couple months ago, and people are putting out.
Yeah, we filmed like
Hold on,
enough content
Charlie,
for.
I gotta interrupt you, man. I just got a super bomb Hail Mary from Tombstone Todd, who just donated 50
Oh
bucks.
no, dude!
Okay, buy
Holy
a
shit!
good box. Big shout out to Tombstone Todd, man. That helps out a lot. I am broke. I just bought a house. I cut a check for like
Hello,
$10,000
Tombstone.
last
That's
week, and I
incredible.
appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate Warren Cox, Nick Smith, Matt Hammond, Midnight Madness. Don't Feed the Trolls, Bergs 24, everybody else who's in here. And I know I still owe a couple people some beer. The bad news is that I haven't shipped the beer out yet. The good news is that I haven't not given away that PB and jelly stuff, but I still need an address from the guy from Australia, Kurt Wilson. Any which way, sorry. Apologies. And I need to get Ben Gate out here as well. He's supposed to come out and visit me. Do you
That's
follow
awesome.
do you follow Ben Gate? Do you follow any of the beer channels aside from Clawhammer?
I follow everybody in our little group chat,
Okay,
but to
cool.
be honest, like there aren't
Back
a
off
lot
or
of like
child,
beer
seriously.
channels outside of that I'm super familiar with. I'm still kind of like delving into the beer world. I'd say.
Apartment Brewer, Elementary, Northwest. There's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of
Oh,
guys that
Apartment Brewer as
fall
well.
off, you know, and it's kind of the thing where like when I do put out a YouTube video, which is maybe like once or twice a month now, people reach back out. Like your network, your social network, kind of putting out content keeps you more intact with people. And when you're not putting out
Yeah.
content, you kind of, oh yeah, I forgot about that channel, or Animated Madness, or Genus Brewing. You know, like putting out content will keep you in the loop with people, networking, happy
You know what?
hours, podcasts. Yeah.
That's a great thing to say, because anybody, if you're a brewing channel in the chat and you want to collab, hit me up, because the ideas are endless. I'd love to make content with all you guys. Everybody in this chat seems super cool, by the way.
Everyone's cool, man. You know, and in all fairness, when I announced that you were going to come on, I had 3 people hit me up, and they were like, "Oh, Charlie's coming on. The mead community is going to be all pissed off. Everyone doesn't like that guy." I was like, "The fuck out of my face! Like, what am I not going to have him on now? Like, either watch it or don't watch it."
Yeah.
Joe Rogan said it
be fair-
best. He says, "I take more heat than anybody. It's really simple. Don't watch it. Just
Yeah.
don't watch it or don't watch it. Bottom line." Ben Gate, new video coming this week. Love to hear it. Love to see it.
Wow.
Let's go, Ben Gate.
Ben Gate's
Warren
got
Cox, shout out. Appreciate the support.
big shout out to Warren Cox. I agree with Noam Brewing. This is the best community ever. We're a smaller community, and I've said it before. When you're smaller, it keeps you closer. Stephen Plass, man, much love. Barrage Army 2, SP always coming through like a barrage. I am going to hit up
Steven.
Nick Smith though, because I'm going to try to move out this week, and I want to try to do. He's Poppy Pilsner on Instagram. He's the Pilsner warlord. I want to get one of his recipes, and I want to brew it for you guys for it July 8th?
Yes, sir.
July 8th, I'm hosting you guys. July 30th, I'm going to San Diego. And then Europe in September when the prices cool down a little bit. Yeah.
What's happening in Europe?
I went out there a couple of years ago. Shit, almost 2 years ago. And the guy who I went with, he was a San Francisco Bay Area advertising guy. And when COVID happened, a lot of people were able to work from home. So he's like, "Hey, I'm making this, Bay Area salary, he's making a $250,000 a year. We can work from home. Home could be anywhere." So we moved to Prague. He's been out there for about a year and a half, and just going to catch up with him. We're just throwing around places right now: Greece, Italy, Albania. He wants to go to Albania. I didn't know Albania was a place, but
It sounds incredible.
yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
I'm going to Colombia in a few weeks.
What's going on down there besides doing a bunch of nose rips? I'm just kidding. Kind of.
Just a vacation. Yeah, we're going to Medellin and Cartagena.
Nice.
So we're gonna hopefully eat some good food, check out the beaches, do some touristy things. I've gotten into cigars recently. Are you a cigar guy at all?
No, I don't get it. If I smoke something, I want to inhale it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know
my
how
dad's
to
been
not inhale.
my dad's been into cigars for
I
a
can never
while,
be president. Okay.
but stay away from the White House.
Yeah. I'm not getting any calls anytime from DC. Ooh. So obviously,
Random drug test.
what's up?
Random drug test.
Yeah. But I would imagine the closer you get to southern places, the better the tobacco is, the better the cigars, the better the cigarettes probably are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm not some huge cigar connoisseur by any means, but apparently there's some good cigars in Colombia, so I'm excited to check them out.
I would imagine. Get your Tony Soprano on.
Yeah,
Love to hear it. Coke versus New Coke challenge. Now we're cooking with grease.
Yeah, now we're doing.
I think-
weed, but it's the other Coke.
Cocaina, the more expensive Coke. Oliaz was down there. I know he was in Brazil in a couple places. He's one of my good friends who comes on the chat from time to time. He's actually going to Italy next week. We're talking about getting him and Noam on, breaking in the new place, do a stream. I think I'll be ready with the internet all set up by then. But if you want to reach out and figure out some do's and don'ts of places to go in South America, hit up Brown Men Brewing on Instagram. He's a barrage. He'll point you in the right directions.
Hey,
What up,
shout
Italian
out-
Rob? What's up, Raj?
Shout out Nick Smith, Random Drug Test IPA. What a great name.
I got a question for you. You're hitting a lot of home runs right now, and you sell 3-pound bottles of mead.
20? Yes.
Has anybody reached out to you to actually create a brand? And if you did create a brand, would you go like the top tier, tough to get, or would you go kind of more Costco, Sam's Club? I mean, there's got to be people that are knocking on your door that want
Look,
a
like
piece of your exposure.
you're talking about the honey.
I'm talking about the 15% or the 10% final product.
Mead. Oh, okay. No, so I
Yes.
don't sell any mead right
I
now.
know you don't. I know you don't. But that's got to be kind of the
I
next
get
thing, right?
I thought you were talking about the honey. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
So
talking about like every pro athlete that wants to, and my
I see
mind
what
just
you're
goes to
saying.
Puff Daddy and Ciroc, but I probably should not talk about Puff Daddy anymore. But
You're
I
gonna get
mean,
can-
if anybody with enough exposure, whether it's Sammy Hagar or he does
Yeah.
the tequila, Dan Aykroyd, he's got the Skull vodka, I believe. I know Jay Cutler's got a brewery out there in Nashville. Anybody with
Uh-huh.
enough exposure, you've kind of, the hardest part's kind of actually kind of over, So,
Yeah. No, I think with
so what do you,
everything else that's happened, you would think that that would be the case, but surprisingly, nobody has reached out and asked like to make our own line of mead together.
what
And I
about,
would
what about
potentially,
going solo YOLO and just pioneering it and be like, hey, I want to do 50,000 bottles this year, 750 milliliter. It probably wouldn't be a 750, right?
that's
It'd probably be like 375. I don't even know what the
no, I
format
would
would
do
be.
750. I
It
would do
would be
750.
750. Okay.
That's the end goal for me. My dream has always been carving a path to be able to start my own meadery.
If you
That
know,
will happen.
if you've got haters now, man, wait till they fucking see these bottles going on I don't know, probably not
Uh,
Amazon, but
I mean, yeah, but also like it's also more of like an art and a final product that I've put my heart and soul into rather than just, manufacturing parts. It's an actual like beverage that you can drink and appreciate. So I think I don't know. That's the thing. The whole thing that got me popular is me making the mead, and if only I could share the mead that I create because it really is so good. And I think my dream is being able to share that with everybody. And I also think if I did it myself, actually, there's going to be a lot more into it than I probably think right now. It's
well,
not going to
there's
be
a whole
easy. It's
logistics
a lot
thing,
of money,
and
but
yeah, there's a whole
right.
how do we
Like
get it
I've
out?
dealt with all that before. Like I said, I was a process engineer. I've ran my own business for half a year now. Like, not that, I mean, I probably sound super naive and there will surely be struggles, but at the end of the day, I think, 10 years down the line, I think that's where I would love to see things going. I think being able to make and sell my own mead would be my dream come true.
I love it, man. I love it, dude. You are the American dream. You're only like 3 years younger than me. Charlie's 25. I'm 28, and you're
Yes.
leaps and bounds ahead of probably everybody I know. So
That's,
I think it's awesome, man. And I know that you have haters, and I know you're kind of new to all of this, and there's people all over every platform's kind of taking a shot at you, man. But like, it's always going to happen, and it's a
thank you, dude.
it's a
No,
compliment disguised, bro. It's
that
everybody,
seriously
man.
means so much to me, especially like you're a channel that I've been following for a while, and
Appreciate you, man.
yeah, that means especially a lot coming from you. So thank you.
Appreciate you, man. And just keep it in like perspective, right? Like every baseball player, or any t-shirt brand, any alcohol brand, there's a million people that are like, this sucks, fuck this, or booing this thing. It's like, it just kind of comes with the territory. I don't know
Yeah.
what that's like. I'll never know what that's like, but,
Oh, you might shortly after this podcast airs. So
I would love it. Someone's like, hey, this guy's talking shit about you. This guy he says you're the worst guy ever. I'd be like, cool.
dude,
Tell him I said what
I
up.
appreciate you. No, that's you've got the right mindset
Send
with
him
that. And
a link to your merch store now. I used to send the trolls a link to my t-shirt store, but
I liked your mosquito comment. I gotta save that one in the back
or
pocket.
yeah, just hit him with the, is this where hit him with the Joe Dirt line, man? Like, is this where you want to be when when Jesus Christ comes back trolling a 25-year-old on the internet? Like,
All right,
kill,
dude. Give me
don't fight
2
fire
minutes.
with fire.
I I gotta drain the main vein and then pour a drink, so I'll be right back.
Drain the main vein, man. He does watch the stream. I love to hear that, man. What's going on, everybody? Good to see that Ron Barnes is still here. Yeah, so for those who are watching or just got in here, we're 90 minutes in. Big shout out to everyone for being here. Charlie took over the scene, and he's got a killer everything. Everything he touches is working out for him, and it's good to hear. It's good to see. I'm glad that he's given me my time, and you guys are giving me my time as well. Jedediah Allen wants to give us Taylor Swift's advice. I don't know what that advice is, but it's good to be back. I would love to be doing at least 2 or 3 streams when I'm kind of all moved in and settled, and I get my Wednesdays back. But this is fun, man. We're drinking. No one's got to drive. We're chilling. NBC. This is for Tombstone Todd and everybody else in here. This is my only hazy IPA from that one brewery out in Memphis, but sometimes in life you just got NBC. Cheers. Boom.
Just say it.
All right. That was a great beer. All right, Charlie, I need another one. What are you drinking now? Are you going back to...
I'm drinking the Half Acre Tome Hazy Pale Ale.
Pale Ale.
So,
Well,
this is a Chicago brewery.
Chicago. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, Sparger. Battalion Rob, I moved 2 streets up. I'm literally just a stone's throw away. An Uncle Rico throw away from the new place. I'm going to grab another beer. I'll be right back.
Who said the Uncle Rico throw? That is awesome. Napoleon Dynamite is one of the greatest movies ever. All right. So have any of you guys been to any breweries in Chicago? I know I mentioned Brew Show recommended Revolution. I've also been to the Goose Island Brewery. That's it in Chicago. I'm pretty new to the area, so if you have recommendations, let me know, and I want to do my rounds here. I'm from Wisconsin, by the way, so I've been in New Glarus. Spotted Cow is one of my favorite beers ever. Fox River Brewing Company, York County Brewing Company. But yeah, let me know what's in Chicago if you guys have been in the area. Brewing Bad said Northwest drains the main grain. I love it. Larry's Garage. Is that in Chicago? Spotted Cow on tap is amazing. And New Glarus has some other great beers too, aside from just Spotted Cow. But visiting that brewery was an awesome experience. I went camping like 20 minutes away, and we just spent a whole day there, and it was awesome. If you like hazies, Hop Butcher for the World makes the best hazies in the country, in my opinion. That's cool. Forbidden Root in Chicago. I have not heard of that one.
I really like this guy's can art up here.
Wisconsin, Miller Country. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of breweries in Wisconsin.
Charlie, I got a question for you.
You drinking?
I'm doing a Czech style Pilsner. Same business as usual, souls and spirits. And then, I got it. So the emblem down there is maybe a lion or maybe just kings and queens. So it's got like the three.
Yeah, it's got a crown and like a unicorn horn.
Yeah, he's got the disclaimer right here. Keep cool and consume fresh. Okay, I think that kind of went without saying, but I like that, man. The seal of approval. Produced for kings and queens. Memphis, Tennessee. Haven't been to Memphis yet, but this gives me another reason to get out there. But Charlie, I got a question for you, Braj.
Yes, let's do it.
The short-term game you're the king at. You're killing it with the Reels or the TikToks. What are they called on TikToks? Is it just TikTok? Reels or Instagram, Shorts or YouTube? What's it?
Yeah, I feel like Shorts is like the name that classifies them all. But yeah, I mean. Okay. 59-second videos, tops, shot vertically. Can do it with the camera. You got to take the camera, turn it that way, but more often than not, it's built for iOS. All done on my phone. Yep.
Oh, yeah, smartphones. What's going on with your videos that you're making that are not shorts?
So I just made one last week, actually. Like,
Millions of views?
no, I think vast majority of my subscribers are people that consume short content, like YouTube Shorts. I think there's a big difference between people on YouTube that consume shorts and people that consume long form content. And I do intend on making more long form content. And I got some good like tips and tricks to make my long form videos better. And I think if I were to go that route, I either need to get a camera or at least film my videos horizontally, which, I'll probably have to film separate content for that because all my other videos are filmed vertically and it'd be tough to kind of um, use the same content for both styles of videos. You could do it, Clawhammer does it, but I would probably do it separately. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think that there's a path where I explore the opportunities in making more long form content, and I would love to do that because I think long form is better with more technical stuff. At least for me, like I can put more information, have it more as like a all-in-one resource, especially like for tutorial videos, and I could like include the links to those specific videos for like my kits, for example. And people like don't have to like scroll through and try to navigate through a million different shorts. So I certainly think there's a market for that for me. And I'm just starting to tap into it, but I haven't really had much success in terms of long form content quite yet. But
What are your videos getting? Like 50,000 views,
for,
600,000
for,
subscribers plus
for short form or long form,
for the long forms?
oh, I've only put like a couple long form videos out.
Are they
And like,
five figures,
and
four
those,
figures? Are they?
no,
So you're not
I
even in
mean,
the algorithm really for the long form stuff, right?
no.
Okay. So
So, I
it
mean, okay, like looking back at them now, I mean, it's like
good color.
10, 10, 20,000 views seems to be the average.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of those were also vertical shorts that were longer than a minute. And so I couldn't post on YouTube shorts. So I just made like,
Damn,
I
Sam.
just made long form videos out of them, but they're not actual long form videos. So I don't know, maybe I should start doing more of that.
I don't know if I'm a guy to take advice from, but I could probably help you out with a little bit. I try to hit the
Yeah.
my thumbnails are very repetitive. I think I get an F in consistency of YouTube videos. I would give myself an F. Thumbnails, I'd give myself probably a C plus B minus. And then first 30 seconds, I think I got that dialed in the best. Like
Okay.
stick around to the end type stuff, like boom, boom, boom,
Gotcha.
boom, 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 boom. Hit him with all
No,
the B roll and then slow down after that. And I've stolen that from just watching Mr. Beast and a lot of other YouTubers on how to like,
Mr. Beast is the man.
he is the man. It's another one of those things where like I like the grind, I like the process. I respect the grind. The guy kills it. Probably wouldn't want to meet that guy in real life though. I just don't
Yeah.
know. It's not like Meet Your
Dude,
Heroes. Like I just don't know if I would want to meet him. But as far as his work ethic goes, like yeah, the guy is
what's crazy
he's
is
wild.
he's like 20, 25 too. He's my age.
He's wild, man.
Like, yeah.
And his videos are always like, can I survive? Like, am I gonna I'm gonna bury myself like 1,000 feet under the ground, under the ocean. So I just zoom to the end to see if he survived or not. Because there's always like, did you
What? I
die?
agree with,
Is he actually dead? Did he, like, no, he's not dead. But
I agree with Steven in the chat. You're selling yourself short on your consistency. I feel like for long form content, which, by the way, is much more challenging to consistently put out good content, I feel like you're doing a very good job, especially with the community you've built.
I appreciate that. But to really be like a YouTuber and want to do it full time, you need to be putting out videos at least once a week, and I don't do that. And sometimes I go months without it. That's what I'm talking about. Upload
See what you're
consistency.
saying. It's more the frequency
The
for you.
frequency, and there's that fine line where if you do like Brew Cabin, great example. Check out that YouTube channel. His videos were so well produced and so well done. It was physically impossible for this guy to
Yeah.
keep up with this production demand weekly. It's just not there unless you have
No,
a team.
dude, I get it. And with shorts, it's even it's even more demanding. I think for shorts, in order to grow a lot, you need to post like almost a video a day, which is insane. And
I
like
feel
I can
like you
see how
do.
creators burn out. Um,
F plus. I'll take it.
yeah. Hey,
F
shout
plus
out
IPA.
Ron Barnes. This is so funny that you mentioned that restaurant, Asteria del Pastel. That pasta dish and a cheese wheel is one of the best dishes I ever had. That was a restaurant I went to when I was living in Madison. I went to school in Madison. I visited Chicago with my girlfriend, and that was the restaurant we went to. And I literally have it in my notes. Oh man, some of the best Italian food I've ever had. So Chicago, great Italian food, good city overall.
I need to get to Chicago. It's one of the big cities I haven't been to yet. I've been to a lot of them, but
You've
Chicago and
never been?
Boston. Never been to Chicago or Boston. Been on Seattle, New York.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Atlanta either. I go to Asheville too much. It's too rad.
Dude, Nashville was awesome. What an awesome little town.
What'd you think? That was your first time there with Kyle and Emmett?
Well, like, I mean, in my like high school friend group and college friend group, Asheville is sort of known as this big
Cheers,
like
everybody.
city, like this. Yeah, big
Really?
cheers. Yeah, I mean, because it's known for their like bachelor parties, and everybody goes there because there's a bunch of breweries around. So in my head, I was thinking it was this like big city, and I went there, and it's just a small like little mountain town, but every single person we ran into was super nice, super genuine.
Mm-hmm.
The food was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some of the best food I've ever had. Amazing breweries. Like
Oh, it's
it was
so
just
craft beer
awesome
centric.
to see.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle and Emmett from Clawhammer. What you can't ask for better people to hang out with.
No,
They're
they
awesome.
rip. They rip. And it was a bummer that Olios couldn't make the last trip. He's in here right now, so if you do want to talk about South America, he's going to be the guy to talk to. But
Oh yeah.
me, Nick Smith in here, Pittsburgh Nick and Noam, we were just ripping way too hard in Knoxville and then drove out to Asheville. It's like, no, we're meeting in Asheville next time. Like we're going fresh from Asheville because we were all just like just banking on the alcohol to kick in just to like get us through, 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. I was like, I got to take a shot of tequila,
Dude, what
or drink Red Bull or snort some fucking nose beers. But that'll weird a lot of people out. Will
I
it?
heard from my good old buddy Kyle that no matter how hard I try, I will not be able to hang with you when we visit.
No, I'll keep it mellow that
Wondering if I
weekend.
should.
No, we're gonna have a blast, and I do have a 3-bedroom. I've got one office and two, the master, and then the
Bring an IV.
bring your buddy, yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna have it dialed in. Big shout out to Olias. I just bought a 55-inch TV and a nice TV mount, the retractable one. He's got a link.
Man.
He's got an Amazon affiliate link if anybody wants to get a piece of that. He's got one in his garage. It's vouched for. And I'm just going to cover up like one wall with just 55-inch TVs in every room.
That's sick.
Todd
And
Porter.
then, yeah, we might. So Tyler's probably coming along with me. We've been debating. We might stay in a hotel because we might stay longer and do some of our own stuff in the city.
That's cool.
But I'll let you know.
If you've got the money for it, always stay in a hotel. If you're trying to save money, you stay with me, But
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that, but we'll see. I'll let you know. I'm not sure if he's coming yet or not, but
yeah, and I get it. Your
I'm
friend
for sure.
your friend might not be comfortable like crashing at somebody else's house, but like, that's cool. I get it.
It's gonna be fun regardless. I can't
It's going to be
wait.
fun regardless. We do have to figure
You-
out what we want to put out because I want to do a beer
I'll just
thing. I want
ask,
to do.
what- Yeah,
what
do
do-
you have any ideas?
I don't know. Let's ask the chat. What do you guys want to see if we collab? What's the mead and beer thing called? A braggot? I wouldn't call it a braggot in the title.
So Kyle and I made a braggot together, and it's currently fermenting right now. But
Braggots were around
think-
when I first got into craft beer, like 10 years
really?
ago. Yeah, because it was kind of a
I've never
loophole.
tasted one.
They're boozy. They're boozy as fuck.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's how I like them.
He's not
Yeah.
missing
So
anything.
if you're in the chat and you can think of good ideas for us to either make or film together, let us know. I think we should do something along the lines of like a PB&J ferment. Like obviously you've done that before, but I feel like something fun and crazy like that would be cool to do together.
I just think that braggot scares a lot of people. People don't know what it is. I think it could filter a lot of people out. That's why I love the
Yeah.
word social sparkler, because it can mean kind of anything. It can mean a cocktail. It can
Yes.
mean.
True. Yeah.
We did really quick though. We did go to a
Yeah.
brewery. A very and I can't say the name. They're our buddies. I know the owner. Kyle's actually done a collab with them, but we did go to their brewery and they had a beer that tasted straight up like, I don't know, man, like collard greens or lettuce. It was very weird. It was very weird. And I'll let Nick
That's
Smith
so oddly
pick up the
specific,
mic
too.
where I just dropped it off. But there was
Oh,
like, I
man.
didn't know that like vegetation was a word. And people, like, I don't let people put things in my head because people are like, oh, this, I get hints of like this and that. I'm like, well, do I really get that? Or is he just kind of saying that? But like, it was like night and day. I was like, wow, this straight up tastes like not broccoli beer.
Yeah.
Something
Steven
veggie though. V8
Steven
shit.
said,
Yeah.
Mountain Dew beer.
Mountain Dew beer.
Has that ever been done?
I mean, does anybody even know like what is in Mountain Dew? What do they advertise it as? Grapefruit? No, that's squirt.
No.
Lemon
It's
lime?
sort of. I think that's what they go with, but it's also like sort of a mystery. I think it's like citrus. That's about all we know.
That was the old candy.
What if we did like a Mountain Dew sour?
I'm listening. I'm listening. I haven't done a sour in a long time. I don't do anything in a long time. I don't even brew anymore.
And you know what? We're gonna be there for 3 or 4 days, so we're gonna have time to film a lot of stuff.
It's gonna be rad. The backyard might not be 100%, but we'll have something. I'll have some slab for us to start ripping some content out and start setting up some tripods.
Beer mile?
What's up?
Beer mile?
What's that? Beer mile?
Yeah, it's where you run a mile and like you go on a track and every lap you have to chug a beer.
Are you a runner? Because I'm actually down for that. And I think Kyle's down for that. Emmett might be, I don't know about that. We might have to talk him into
Am
it.
I a runner? Absolutely not. Would I attempt to run a beer mile? For sure.
I just did a half marathon. It sucked.
Damn, I think the most I've ever ran is like 11 miles. And that's like, I have no business running more than like half of that right now, but you know what? A beer mile might be fun.
I'm down for that. We can
Might
shoot
make
that
for some
video.
content.
Hey, something happened. I think I just got buzzed. Yep. I'm buzzed. Charlie, how you doing over
You feel
there?
that?
I've got
feel
this.
that
Is,
too?
this is beer number 4.
Yeah, that's
When you're kind of feeling
that's
like you're
beer
sitting in
number,
it.
beer number 3 for me, but I've also had a mead too.
You know when you hit that buzz when you feel like you're sitting in a jacuzzi, but you're not in a jacuzzi.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at too.
That's how I describe the buzz. I know, Aliaz, I became like that guy. I don't know how I ever ended up buying a vape, but it's down to one
Ooh,
thing.
somebody said do a fruity Mountain Dew as a sour. That could be good.
It's running on fumes over there. Yeah, I got to go back to the sunflower seeds thing very fast. What was the last thing you said? A Mountain Dew what?
No, somebody in the chat said that we should do a fruity Mountain Dew and make that into a sour.
Well, there's different variations of Mountain Dew, right? Isn't there the Code Red?
Oh, dude. Yeah, there's a ton of them. But the other thing we got to consider is if we're filming content together, we probably want to have stuff made ahead of time and then like brew the same recipe when we meet up.
That's what Clawhammer does. I'm into that. Okay. Just I'm moving out of this place by the 8th. I got to pay $400. That's prorated. And then I can pretty much, by the 8th, I should be completely moved out of here. I have to be. And I'll be completely moved in. And from there, I will start. I've got your honey right here. Like I look at it every day. And I want to start ripping with that. And then we can kind of, can we do a mead in 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
No.
Damn.
I mean, we could make a mead, but it probably won't be ready to like taste.
Let's just lie to everybody on YouTube and tell them it's the best mead in the world and we'll sound like experts, like every other YouTuber.
Or-
I'm kidding. Kind of.
What you could do is you can make
I'm
a
not
recipe
kidding.
that You could just follow a recipe that I already have made. And I could
Okay.
bring like the finished bottle of that. And so we could show like us making that same recipe and then tasting the one that I already have made.
Checks in the mail. Perfect.
Yeah, that could be the move. That would be
Okay.
fun.
And the one you sent me, I'll just make that one because you sent me a pretty detailed list of. You sent me a lot of like stuff how to like sanitize and stuff like that. I just need the recipe. I kind of know what to do
Sweet.
from
Yeah,
there.
no, I've got to take I'll have to take a look at like what I have brewing and like what's ready to bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Clawhammer's still here. Did Emmett hear that whole beer mile thing?
I'm sure Clawhammer would be down for a beer mile.
Not worried about Kyle. I'm worried about the counterpart,
No, I
the,
feel like
the Lost Viking. We'll figure it
I think
out.
he's got it in him.
I mean, I don't think,
Um,
I don't know. I mean, not trying to call anybody out, but I think like most people can't, like 90% of at least the American population probably couldn't run 1 mile. I don't know. Walk,
I
walk,
think
walk for
blackberry.
a cure, walk for a cause.
Yeah, that's true. Um, you know what? Emmett's also the master of operations and content, so he could probably help make it happen and film it too if he wants.
And not only that, but like we could do like it. It doesn't have to be fermentation oriented. We could do a reverse MTV Cribs thing and make fun of kind of how what Redman did back in the day. Like the doorbell doesn't work, or like, hey, come check out the bathroom. Hit the lights, nothing comes on. Just something like that. I mean, anything is a good idea as long as it's done right. I truly believe that. Whether you're starting a T-shirt brand or a YouTube channel or a troll Reddit account that goes by the name of like Seahorse something, or starting a brewery, anything's a good idea as long as it's done right. And why it's not done right or doesn't work out is because people don't have the experience. It's like all my friends in San Diego that wanted to open up breweries 5-10 years ago and think that they could just do this on the fly, and you're trying to
Gotcha.
and you can't because you don't have the experience. Like guys spend years of their lives working at breweries and restaurants, and then they go and they start their own thing. There was just way too many people that started breweries
Yeah.
back in the day that just thought that the bottom line is that what if you had money and you wanted to start a brewery back in the day, you could. That was it. That's one of the biggest problems with why craft beer is struggling so hard right now. It's that there was way too many shitheads like me that open up breweries. There's no bar
What if you
exam.
don't?
You don't have to, go to 7 years of med school to open up a business. The only thing that stopped me from not opening a brewery when I was 25 years old was money. Was money. And people were like, whoa,
Mm.
craft beer's struggling right now. It's like, maybe it should have never like boomed up to begin with.
See, you know what? The way I see it, I mean, I do not have the money to start any sort of meadery or anything like that right now, but I would like to think that I'm getting valuable market experience in the business world before I take on some sort of endeavor like that. And ideally, I'd like to build a team of people who have done that before. So when I do it the right way. I don't want to rush into it. That
And
makes
it's,
sense.
you talked earlier about how you're a one-man crew and people perceive you as like being this Amazon company or having these factories. It is
Yeah.
a very, very fucking nice thing to not have employees and deal with people. Like everybody thinks that they want to own a
Yeah, that's
brewery.
true.
Maybe work at a brewery for a year. I've been in pretty much or the industry for about 20 years now. People are cool. There's a small amount of people on planet Earth that are awesome, and there's a lot of people that are not cool. There's a lot of coworkers. There's a lot like disgruntled employees. This person hates working with this manager and this and that. It's a very good thing just to not have to deal with
Yeah.
any of that. Like not even have
It's
an
yeah.
HR thing, like
True. Yeah.
if
That's
I ever
great.
had a brewery and someone was like, hey, somebody sexual harassed me, I'd be like, do I call 911? Like, I don't know what to do. What do you, okay. Like, was there evidence? Like, I wouldn't know what to do, like The fact that you're
Yeah,
by
there's
yourself and you kind of pick and choose with what you want to do right now is a serious blessing in disguise. Because I've seen some really good brands, like
100%. Yeah, but
Fire
as soon as
Guy.
you
Because
start adding people, there
yeah,
comes a
like
whole lot of issues
if
that you probably like aren't prepared for.
whenever you have people, you're always going to have problems. But without people, we're nothing. So you got to look at
Mhm.
both sides. But I've seen people that got fired, rightfully so, because they just hang out behind the bar, stare at their phone, and eat food, and just give god awful
Yeah,
customer service. Try to sue that company for wrongful termination because they didn't get a lunch break from 6 years ago. They didn't get their cigarette break, and they won in that in California. So
yeah,
it's hit the brakes. You don't need to, you know, be the CEO of a company, with 100
yeah,
people working for
100%.
you. Yeah, it could be wild.
There's a lot more to it than what meets the eye, and I'm certainly learning that too.
Yeah, and,
Just
and Kyle and
being
I
one
have
man
this
too.
ongoing conversation. I love YouTube. When it's good, it's good. A good YouTube month, I can make, X amount of dollars, a little bit here and there, but it's weird money. It's very inconsistent money.
Yep,
It's good to have a W-2, like every Friday or every other Friday paycheck that just kind of comes in.
100%. Yep,
And that's a very tough thing to do as a entrepreneur, as a YouTuber. You need to be like the top tier guys, or I don't know, people that are making over $50,000 a year that are creating LLCs and paying themselves as W-2 employees. That's not in my wheelhouse. I have to pay taxes at the end of all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like, the grass is always greener. Like, everybody thinks that, like, they want to own, they want to do what you're doing, they want to be their own boss. But it's also
yeah,
just very nice to have that W-2 thing, especially when it comes to getting a house or getting a
for
car
sure.
loan.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a nightmare for me
and you
to
know
buy
what?
that
I
house.
know how hard it is to juggle both things at once too. So like credit for you to continuing to do that because that is not easy at all.
It also
It's
scares
almost
me
like you're
'cause-
working two full-time jobs, and you probably, I dealt with this too, but you probably don't have a ton of free time to spend like with family and friends, and
no,
that's just the reality of it. And
no,
a lot of people don't realize that.
right. And if I want to make the same money I'm making on YouTube as I do working at a bar 4 or 5 times a week, like, I pretty much have to be damn near sober that month. If I can find a couple Adderall pills
Yeah,
here and there, I'll do it. But, like,
yeah,
I can't be
100%.
I can't be going out. I can't be hungover. I can't be going on vacation. Like, it's a 60-hour work week, and my nighttime job, I can go through the motions. What's going on? How you doing? Kick it into autopilot. But with YouTube, it's like you talked about earlier. Like, there's a lot that goes into it that nobody's going to get or no one's going to see. But there's a
Yeah,
brainstorming creative process. We're like, okay, I think I got the perfect video, the perfect 30 seconds, but, like, this fucking thumbnail sucks. Like, if the thumbnail is this bad, how are people even going to watch this
you know
first
what's
10
so funny
seconds,
about that too? Some of the videos
I
that
think I
I've
got it. I
put,
think I got it. And then the thumbnail just fucking Titanics.
yeah, no, you're right. And some of the videos, ironically, that I've put the most time, thought, and effort into, that like I think are edited so good that I spend so much time on, versus
Titanic.
videos that I spend like 10 seconds on,
Yeah.
just following a trend. And like the videos I spend no time on and like don't care about are oftentimes the ones that do really well.
Was that Mountain
Whereas
Dew?
I mean, yes, but like not just that, like just random like TikTok trends and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
just funny, like, 10-second videos that I don't care about
Yeah.
end up blowing up. Whereas like I've made this super niche black currant prune mead that I've spent all this time researching. I think I have the perfect ratios. It tastes so good, and then it gets like no views. And I spend hours editing it, like making what I think is the perfect video, and then So that's why I always go back to like if you have an idea, post it. Like post every single thing you can, and because you never know how things are going to turn out.
But you can always change the title and the thumbnail. Like YouTube will let you know that maybe that
True.
what you
Yeah.
said, black currant, is just not a popular thing. Mountain Dew, everybody knows what Mountain Dew is. Everybody knows what Dr. Pepper or Coke is. Black
Exactly
currant,
right.
like, is
Yeah.
this like a farmer's market vegetable? Like, is he going to try to teach me how to be a green thumber? Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just click on some other,
Yeah, you're right.
Steve-O's Wild
There's
Ride
gonna be
podcast.
those 3 people that love black currants, and they're like, "Oh, that's my favorite dried fruit in the world."
Yeah. I don't
And
even know about black
unfortunately,
currant.
you know, that doesn't hit the masses. But at the end of the day, you just got to do what you love too.
And again, you have to keep up that A+ of consistency. Like, not every
Yeah, sure.
not every hit's a home run. Not every hit's a single, or not every hit's a
not at all.
not every at bat is a single. But you still got to get up to the plate.